And if this is tied to the trial, then who's lying? And who's next? Stay with me, because what's coming next isn't just shocking, it's dangerous. You need to understand something before we go any further. This situation didn't just appear overnight. What's happening right now has been building for years, quietly, dangerously, and completely under the radar, because Nancy Guthrie wasn't just a random name floating around the headlines. She was connected, and I'm not talking about surface-level connections. I'm talking about deep, behind-the-scenes ties that people were too scared to question. For the longest time, Nancy kept a low profile. No loud scandals. No viral moments. Nothing that would make you stop and think twice. But according to multiple insiders, that was intentional, because the quieter she stayed, the more powerful her position became. And then there's Annie Guthrie. Now, if you've been following this story even a little bit, you already know Annie's name doesn't come up without tension. There's always been something off. People close to the situation say Annie and Nancy had a relationship that looked normal on the outside, but behind closed doors, it was complicated, messy, and according to one source, built on secrets that were never supposed to come out. Let that sink in, because what we're seeing now might just be those secrets finally breaking through. And then, out of nowhere, the trial started gaining attention. At first, it didn't seem like anything major. Just another case, another courtroom, another set of claims. But that changed the moment Annie opened her mouth. Because during one specific moment in the trial, one moment that most people almost missed, Annie dropped a statement that completely shifted everything. She didn't hesitate. She didn't hold back. And according to people inside that courtroom, the entire energy changed instantly. One insider described it like this. It felt like the room froze. Like everyone realized at the same time, this just got way bigger than we thought. And here's where things start getting uncomfortable. Because the moment Annie mentioned Nancy's name, it wasn't casual. It wasn't random. It was direct. And more importantly, it sounded like she knew exactly what she was doing. Now think about that. Why would Annie bring Nancy into a situation this serious, unless there was something real behind it? That's the question people started asking immediately. And that's when everything began to spiral. Within hours, clips from the trial started circulating online. People were replaying Annie's statement over and over again, trying to catch every word, every pause, every detail. And the reactions? Explosive. Some people believed Annie was finally exposing something that had been hidden for years. Others weren't buying it at all. They called it manipulation, a distraction, even a setup. But no matter what side people were on, everyone agreed on one thing. This wasn't normal. Because right after that statement went public, things got weird, fast. Reports started surfacing, unconfirmed at first, that something had happened involving Nancy. No clear details. No official confirmation, just whispers. And those whispers started turning into headlines. Then came the phrases that made everything worse. Unresponsive, emergency response, unverified status. Nobody knew what was real and what wasn't. But the timing? Way too suspicious to ignore. Because how does someone go from being quietly connected in the background to subtly being at the center of a situation this intense? Right after being mentioned in a trial, it didn't make sense, and people noticed. Now here's where it gets even more unsettling. According to a source claiming to have access to internal discussions, there had already been concerns about Nancy before the trial even started. Concerns that were never made public. Concerns that, if true, could completely change how this entire situation is being viewed right now. But those concerns, they were buried, ignored, or maybe intentionally kept quiet. And now, suddenly, everything is coming back to the surface at once. So the question is no longer what happened. The real question is, why is everything happening right now? Why did Annie decide to speak at that exact moment? And why did Nancy's name trigger such an immediate chain reaction? Because if this was just coincidence, it's one of the most perfectly timed coincidences anyone has ever seen. But if it's not, then we're looking at something much bigger, something planned, something controlled, something that people are only just starting to realize. And trust me, what comes next It doesn't calm things down. It makes everything worse. The moment Annie said Nancy's name in that courtroom, everything changed. Not slowly, not quietly, instantly, because within minutes of that statement being picked up, people inside the courthouse started whispering. Phones were coming out. Messages were being sent. And according to one insider, it felt like something had just been triggered. At first, nobody outside knew what was happening. But inside, panic, real panic. One source claimed that right after Annie's statement, a legal assistant rushed out of the room mid-session, visibly shaken. Another person said they overheard someone say, "This wasn't supposed to come out yet." Yet? What do you mean yet? That single word alone had people questioning everything. Because now this didn't feel like a random mention anymore, it felt timed. And then, this is where it gets intense. Roughly 27 minutes after Annie's statement, reports started surfacing online that something had happened to Nancy. No details, no confirmation, just one chilling phrase that kept repeating across different accounts. She's not responding. That's it. No explanation. Just that. And the internet did what it always does. It exploded. People started connecting dots immediately. Wait, Annie mentions Nancy and now this happens? Is this a coincidence or something else? Why is nobody confirming anything? Within an hour, hashtags started trending. Clips from the courtroom were being reposted everywhere. And suddenly Nancy, who had stayed in the background for so long, was the center of a storm she couldn't control. But here's where things take a darker turn. Because while the public was speculating, something else was happening behind the scenes. According to a source claiming to be close to the situation, emergency responders were seen outside a private property linked to Nancy. Unmarked vehicles. No press. No official statement. Just movement. Quiet, controlled movement. And that silence, it made everything worse. Because when there's no information, people start creating their own. Some said it was a medical emergency. Others weren't so sure. They started going back to Annie's exact words in the trial, replaying them, breaking them down. And one line in particular stood out. A line that at first didn't seem like much, but now it felt loaded. According to multiple viewers, Annie reportedly said, "There are things Nancy knew, things she was never supposed to carry alone." Read that again. Never supposed to carry alone. What does that even mean? Secrets? Evidence? Something bigger? Because now people weren't just asking what happened to Nancy. They were asking what Nancy knew and whether that knowledge put her in danger. And just when things couldn't get more chaotic, a supposed leak hit social media. A screenshot, blurry, unverified, but impossible to ignore. It looked like a message sent hours before the trial, allegedly from someone close to Nancy. And it read, "If Annie talks, everything falls apart. She won't stay quiet forever." Now listen, nobody has confirmed if that message is real. But the timing? Terrifying. Because if that message is even partially true, then Annie speaking in court wasn't just a statement. It was a trigger. And whatever happened to Nancy might not be random at all. Now the pressure shifted. Completely. People weren't just waiting for updates anymore. They were demanding answers. News outlets started reaching out for confirmation. Social media accounts began tagging law enforcement. And then, finally, a response. But not the one anyone expected. Because instead of confirming or denying anything about Nancy's condition, authorities gave a short, controlled statement. "We are aware of circulating reports and are currently assessing the situation." That's it. No name, no details, no clarity, just assessing. And that word, it didn't calm people down. It made everything worse. Because now it felt like something was being held back. Something big, something serious. And while all of this was unfolding, Annie, she went silent. No statements, no follow-ups, nothing. The same person who just dropped one of the most explosive lines in that courtroom suddenly disappeared from the conversation. Why? That's the question nobody could answer. Was she told to stay quiet? Did she realize what she started? Or did she already know this was going to happen? Because if Annie's statement and Nancy's situation are connected, then this isn't just drama anymore. This is something else entirely. Something deeper. Something calculated. And just when people thought they had reached the peak of the chaos, a new piece of information started circulating. One that didn't just raise questions. It changed the entire direction of the story. Because according to a second insider, Nancy wasn't just mentioned in the trial. She was supposed to be involved directly. And if that's true, then what happened to her might not be the beginning of this story. It might be the result of something that was already in motion. And trust me, the next reveal, it doesn't just add to the chaos. It completely flips everything you think you know. Just when people thought the situation couldn't get any more intense, it did. Because what surfaced next didn't just raise eyebrows. It sent shockwaves. Within hours of that vague, assessing the situation statement, a new rumor started spreading. And this one felt different, more detailed, more specific, and way more dangerous. According to a source claiming to have access to internal conversations, Nancy wasn't just connected to the case. She was allegedly scheduled to be questioned next. Let that hit you. Not later. Not eventually. Next. Which means Annie's statement didn't just bring her name up for no reason. It may have exposed someone who was already about to step into the spotlight. And if that's true, then everything changes. Because now people aren't just asking what happened to Nancy. They're asking, was she silenced before she could speak? That question alone lit social media on fire. You had people posting things like, this isn't a coincidence anymore. This is a pattern. She was next to talk, and now she's not responding? Yeah, something's off. Why does this feel controlled? And then, another twist dropped. A short audio clip, unverified, distorted, but clear enough to cause panic. The voice, allegedly female, was heard saying, I told them I didn't want to be part of this, but they said it's too late now. That's it. 7 seconds. But those 7 seconds, they changed everything. Because now people weren't just speculating. They were connecting. Fast. The timeline. The trial. Annie's statement. Nancy's condition. The she's next claim. The audio. It all started lining up in a way that felt way too precise. And then the biggest red flag of all, the clip started getting taken down. Accounts that posted it, gone. Videos discussing it, removed. And that only made things worse. Because when something disappears that fast, people don't forget. They dig deeper. Because this wasn't just some random person getting dragged into the situation. This was someone with a history. Someone who had been quietly orbiting both Annie and Nancy for years. And the second people realized who it was, the entire narrative flipped. Social media went into overdrive. Timelines were flooded with posts like, wait, why is that name connected to this case? Nah, this just turned into something way bigger. They've been hiding this the whole time. People started digging. Old photos, deleted posts, archived interviews. And within minutes, clips began resurfacing that nobody had paid attention to before. But now, they felt different, suspicious, calculated. And then someone found it. A clip from months ago, buried, ignored, almost forgotten. In it, this newly exposed figure was laughing during an interview, but then suddenly stopped and said something that now feels chilling. Some stories are meant to come out, because when they do, people don't just lose careers, they disappear. At the time, nobody reacted. Now, that line is everywhere. Reposted, zoomed in, analyzed word by word. Because after everything that just happened with Nancy, that doesn't sound like a joke anymore. It sounds like a warning. And just when people thought they had reached the peak of the chaos, another leak dropped. This time, it wasn't a message. It wasn't audio. It was a document, blacked out in places, names partially hidden. But one section? Crystal clear. A line that read, subject expressed hesitation prior to involvement. Concerns included exposure, timing, and potential fallout if details became public. Subject? Involvement? Exposure? Now the questions weren't just growing. They were multiplying. Because who is the subject? Nancy? Annie? Or this new person? And what exactly were they being involved in? Something about this didn't feel like a coincidence anymore. It felt organized, structured, like pieces of a puzzle finally being forced together. Meanwhile, people started noticing something else. The silence wasn't just from Annie anymore. It was spreading. Accounts linked to Nancy, inactive. People rumored to be close to her. No posts, no comments, nothing. It's like an entire circle just went dark. And that kind of silence, it doesn't happen naturally. It happens when something or someone wants it that way. Now here's where it gets even more unsettling. Because during a late-night live stream, a creator who had been covering the case suddenly stopped mid-sentence and said, "I just got a message. I can't show it, but this is bigger than we thought. Way bigger." Then they ended the stream. No explanation. No follow-up. Gone. That clip? Now viral. Millions of views. Everyone asking the same thing. What did they see? Because at this point, it's not just about Nancy anymore. It's not just about Annie. This feels like something layered, something hidden behind multiple people, multiple stories, and multiple versions of the truth. And just when it seemed like the situation couldn't get more intense, a rumor started circulating that changed the stakes completely. A rumor that law enforcement wasn't just assessing anymore, they were preparing to act. And if that's true, then whatever is coming next isn't just going to shock the internet. It's going to expose something that was never supposed to be seen. And trust me, the next reveal, it doesn't just add fuel to the fire. It might be the moment everything finally explodes. At this point, it didn't feel like a story anymore. It felt like a countdown. Because the moment rumors started spreading that authorities were preparing to act, the entire atmosphere shifted. From curiosity to fear. Real fear. People weren't just watching anymore. They were waiting. Waiting for something to drop. Waiting for confirmation. Waiting for the moment everything either makes sense or completely falls apart. And then, something strange happened. Around 2:17 a.m., multiple users across different platforms reported the same thing at the exact same time. A post, brief, cryptic, and gone within seconds. But not before screenshots were taken. And once those screenshots started circulating, everything changed again. Because the post allegedly read, "You weren't supposed to connect it this fast." No name, no account confirmation, nothing. But the timing? Too perfect. It showed up right as people were linking Annie's statement, Nancy's condition, and the newly exposed name. Almost like someone was watching. Almost like someone realized the internet was getting too close. And if that wasn't enough, another detail surfaced that made things even more unsettling. A timeline inconsistency. Small at first, easy to miss. But once someone pointed it out, it couldn't be ignored. According to earlier reports, the emergency response connected to Nancy happened after Annie's courtroom statement. But now, a source claimed the response team had already been dispatched before Annie even spoke. Let that sink in. Before. So now the biggest question flips completely. How do you respond to something before it happens? Unless you knew it was coming. That single detail sent the internet into complete chaos. Because if this was pre-planned, then Annie's statement wasn't just a reaction. It was part of something bigger, something coordinated. And now people are asking the question nobody wanted to say out loud. Was Nancy already in danger before her name was ever mentioned? Because if she was, then this isn't a coincidence. This is a setup. And just when it felt like things couldn't get more intense, another layer dropped. A former associate, someone who had never spoken publicly before, allegedly reached out anonymously to a small creator and left a message that's now being shared everywhere. The message said, "You're all focused on the wrong moment. This didn't start in that courtroom, and it's not going to end there." Read that again. Not the beginning, not the end, just the piece. Now everything feels different, because if the trial isn't where this started, then what is? What happened before all of this? And more importantly, what's still coming? Because here's the part that should worry you the most. The more people dig, the more pieces they find. And the more pieces they find, the quieter certain people become. And silence like that, it doesn't mean nothing is happening. It usually means something is about to. Because right now, we're not at the end of the story. Not even close. We're right at the edge of something bigger. Something that hasn't fully come out yet. And if even half of what's being hinted at is true, then the next update, it won't just shock people. It might finally expose what this was really about the entire time. And now I need you to really think about everything you just heard, because this story is far from over. If even a part of these leaks is real, then what's coming next could change everything we thought we knew. So tell me, do you think this was all a coincidence or something planned from the start? Drop your thoughts below, because I'm reading everything. And don't leave just yet. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next update, it's not just shocking. It might be the moment the truth finally comes out.